2 days in a row, baby. Back like I never left. For all the haters that said I would never do it, 2 uploads in a row, back to back. And that would Drake's back to back. Anyway, let's just get on with the video. What's up, guys and gals? It's your boy NotZay. I will never intro like that ever again. That felt so head ass. I will never again. That is a promise. But if you guys see me looking over here, I'm looking at notes. As you guys can tell, this is sort of more off the cuff than I usually try to do. And yeah, you know. But today I'm going to be bringing you guys two Summer League recaps. Today we're going to be doing two teams that we didn't really get to do. I mean, I'm not going to say that. I mean, we really didn't get to the Spurs the other day. But the Warriors we did get to, but their main two prospects weren't playing, which are Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody. So that really made me want to catch this game a little bit more because number 7 and number 14 overall pick are playing on the same team, you know? This is must-see TV if you're going to be doing Summer League reviews like a crazy person. But I won't be getting to Davion or Davion, however you want to pronounce it. I say Davion. But I'm not going to be getting them because I got to them yesterday. And don't blame me. Blame the people who decided to split the time zones up. I don't know how that happened, but we are hours behind. And by the time that will be done, this review wouldn't be able to be out until the next day. And I kind of want to get these done after Summer League days are finished, if that makes any sense. Anyway, but we're doing Spurs versus Jazz and the Warriors versus the Heat. Big time prospects in this game: Josh Primo and Devin Vassell of the San Antonio Spurs. And for the Warriors, I talked about him earlier, Jonathan Kuminga, who I'm probably going to clickbait the shit out of for this this title and thumbnail. And then we got Moses Moody, who is, you know, 3-and-D guard for the most part. You guys get the drill, you know. These are the guys that we're going to be going against. But let's start with Spurs Jazz. I want to kind of tackle the prospects first, and let's start with the good. Devin Vassell is as advertised. He's easily too good for Summer League. He needs to be on the first plane back to San Antonio because, like, he's just too good for Summer League. From my notes, it's just like he was looking to be more of a shot creator, especially in the mid-range where he can leverage his pull-up a little bit better. And I like the flashes that I saw from him as a creator. I mean, you still saw the handle is a bit rough. He is a little bit over-reliant on those hezzies and leveraging that pull-up jumper to get to places on the floor because his handle just isn't very refined. He doesn't have very many combo moves or anything like that. He's not stringing anything together. He's literally just doing hezzy, dribble, hezzy, dribble, hezzy, dribble. You know what I'm saying? It's just sort of repetitive, and that's just not going to work for him in the NBA. But one thing I really did like seeing from Vassell was the footwork, especially inside three-point line. Inside three-point line with his back to the basket where he's trying to create and doing those tough, really tough fadeaways or whatever. The footwork is top tier. It's amazing. And then when you look at his arms and all the other stuff, the release point is so high that he has some pretty high tough shot making upside. If you see a guy like Middleton or someone like that, you're just like, wow, this guy, or Kevin Durant, for example, that's probably the best example. His arms are so long, you just can't contest everything. And that's something that I really liked about Vassell. His release point is pretty high as well. So, like, he's going to be able to make some difficult shots if the Spurs continue to develop him the way that they have thus far. I really like what I saw. And defensively, he was a monster. That's just to put it simply. He was a monster. If I was an opposing team, I would just not go to his side of the floor. Because the off-ball defense was awesome. On-ball, he was closing up space so quickly due to the length of his arms or whatever. Like, literally every jump shot that got put up in his vicinity, if it was his man or something like that, it had an arm up and it was heavily contested. Even if he wasn't right there at the moment, he closed up that space, and the length that he possesses really made that easy. But that's enough on Vassell. I mean, but side note, I'm using the camera microphone. This is just for show because seeing is believing, kids. Just remember that. But we're gonna get back into the games. Josh Primo was running point. If you watched him at Alabama, you could kind of see that he was more of a play finisher, playing off ball and all other stuff. But it seems like the Spurs have some primary hopes for him. I'm a bit pessimistic on whether or not he meets that for them. I just don't think they had to draft him at 12, to be honest. But like, if you think Josh Primo is a primary moving forward, I could see why. I could see the logic behind picking him that highly, especially with him only being 18 years old. But I never saw him in that light. So like I just never got it. Anyway, enough. Let's just talk about the game. Like I said, he was running point this game, which had some mixed results. I mean, the passing was, I guess it was okay. It was fine. I'll just say that. It wasn't great, but it wasn't horrible. Like, I have less to gripe about with Primo than I did with Davion yesterday. With his passing, that might also just be because Point Primo didn't last very long in this game. He started off the game as Point Primo. I'm scrolling through my notes real quick. He started off the game as Point Primo, but as it went on, they kind of realized that he just don't got it like that, at least not right now. So they just pulled him from being the point guard. He was getting ripped a lot. I mean, it just didn't seem to have very good ball security either, because he was just fumbling the ball. And I felt bad for him, sort of, because you got to think about it. This kid is 18 years old, youngest player in the draft. Would have been the youngest, if not one of the youngest in the last draft class. I know I just butchered those, but this is a young guy, and this is his first experience with super high level, pro level basketball. So like, to be throwing him to the Wolves like this in a new role when he already probably wasn't ready. He was a pre-draft candidate, meaning he probably needed to stay another year, but you know, you want to get him an NBA development and all this other stuff. I kind of expected him to look this rough. So, I mean, I'm not going to be too harsh on him. He airballed a wide open jumper, which wasn't great. Defensively, he was horrible. I mean, that has really nothing to do with your with being 18 years old, I want to say. And like, he was a traffic cone out there. Like, he was just, it was like a matador. Like he was just moving out of the way. It was simple for guys to score on him. He was dying on screens and whatnot. But like I said, I mean, he's young. Some things I just hope work out, but the defense was really not encouraging, especially for someone who didn't look great offensively. Another note that I have about his defense is he was like standing up off ball defensively, like standing straight up off ball defensively, and I just really didn't like that. I mean, this just left a sour taste in my mouth about Primo moving forward, but I'll try my best not to let one California Summer League game influence me. But I guess this is kind of confirmation bias, because I sort of didn't think he was a top 12 prospect to begin with. So this is sort of me confirming my own suspicions, which is something I got to deal with as an evaluator. And hydration break. One take. You know you really be drinking water when it's room temperature. You don't see any frost on this. When it's room temperature, you know you really be drinking water like that. Because that cold stuff, it's just, it makes your teeth cold, and sometimes it's hard to, you know, it's just, real water drinkers know. And matter of fact, you see, Zephyr Hills, I need a sponsorship soon. Get in contact with my manager, who is, it's PD Webb, actually. At Above the Break 3 on Twitter. Get at him to get me my Zephyr Hill sponsorship. But let's get into the next game, the better game, the one I wanted to talk about, which was Heat versus Warriors. And I'm just going to talk about the guys who let me grab my microphone real quick. Got to look professional. I was talking to a Zephyr Hills. Anyway, so let's talk about the guys who are sort of on the fringes before I get deep in with Moody and Kuminga. Like Gary Payton II, he looked very good. He looked like, how he was supposed to. He's 28, and he's going to be 30 in a year some change. So it's just like, I would hope you would be dominating in the Summer League. But you can only play who's in front of you. I'm not going to blame him for that or whatever. I hope Michael Beasley plays the same way. And when I was watching him, every time I watch him, I just say he's sort of like a Walmart. Walmart's a very respected brand. How about, you know, that rinky-dink corner store where the owners always look like they're watching you or something because they think you're stealing or something like that? One of those. Gary Payton is like one of those versions of his father. The defense was awesome. He was getting downhill well. He got his teammates involved. You could kind of tell it was just sort of a been there, done that sort of thing. Another guy who's probably too good to be in Summer League right now. I'm not really sure why he's there. But anyway, he looks good. Omer Yurtseven, I mean, he did the same thing he did yesterday. Played very, very well. Dominated them, actually. Opening the game up. Once again, he had Golden State at a deficit just by his presence. He is also too good for Summer League. He has no business being here, at least offensively. Defensively, it is a little bit rough because he is prone to fouling. But Max Strus also looked great today. 5 threes. I mean, he looked as advertised. That NBA money must be hitting differently because he just got a nice payday. Not really. He got like 3 mil over 2 years, but still, that's better than what he was at. So he probably got that NBA money, and he just, feel like swag, play like swag. Anyway, let's get into the man, the myth, the Jonathan Kuminga. To open up this game, he looked very, very rough. I'm not going to lie to you. He had a pass. I mean, he just loves these jump passes for whatever reason. Jump passes in the NBA for the most part, unless you're like Tyrese Halliburton or something, those are turnovers damn near every time. Because you're in the air. There's very little that you can do. Like when you're in the air, there's very little options up there. Like you're going to be passing the ball. And then it's just like there's not very much maneuverability up there. It's just not a good pass for someone like him to be trying to drill in right now. I mean, I really hope he just cuts that out of his game. But the form still looked rough. I know he edited his form. What I'm talking about. He changed his form, and it still looked rough. He airballed a wide open 3. I mean, I know he made one much later, but to airball a wide open 3 is just sort of, it's just not leaving a good taste in my mouth. Something I noticed with Kuminga in his passing once again is that he has a lot of good, or not even good ideas. I'm not going to say they're good ideas because they're kind of basic, but he has the right idea, but the execution's shitty. It's poor. It's terrible. Like there was one where it was like a wide open transition, skip ahead pass he couldn't make. He threw it into the rafters basically. And then there was just one where he collapsed the defense, tried to hit it to the corner. It was like to the, I don't know which side it was, right or left or whatever. And he put too much heat on it, like just gonna break someone's hand or some shit. But Jonathan Kuminga, if you don't know, is physical as hell. He was playing bully ball against these grown men, and I love to see it. He did a good job getting downhill, especially in the half court. Well, not especially in the half court. In the half court, he did a good job getting downhill and getting fouled, which is something we already knew about Jonathan Kuminga. And one thing, shout out to my friend Francis for bringing this up, at Ben Thrifty on Twitter. It will be in the description. So this is sort of what Jonathan Kuminga was supposed to be doing. He's playing worse competition than he did for the G League Ignite. And like the Summer League style of play is very open court transition based, which is obviously where someone of Kuminga's athletic gifts is going to thrive. So like I sort of expected him to put up good numbers in these Summer League games. What would be that thing where if you're watching the games, you sort of see that it was more rough than the box score would indicate. That's why this is the purpose of this channel. So I can inform you guys so you guys aren't just box score watching, because that's the worst. He looks so fucking lost off ball. He might as well close his eyes off ball because it's the same effect. He looks super lost. I mean, he has some flashes on ball. It was still pretty rough. But off ball, it just looks really bad. I mean, I just don't see it really defensively with him. He has the tools to be good defensively on ball, but off ball, he just might be too behind the curve a little bit, And that's okay. I mean, he's sort of late to basketball if you want to count 8th grade as late to basketball. Shout out to PD Webb making that point. The guy I mentioned earlier at Above the Break 3, also in the description. Yeah, he was thriving in transition. I think Jonathan Kuminga, don't get mad at me for saying this because obviously he's Jaylen Brown, but he might be a big. Think about it. He really might be a big based off of, I mean, he's really not very good on the perimeter. He's a decent weak side rim protector. He might just be a 4/5, even though I don't really trust him to play the 5 right now because of how poor he is off ball and decision making as a helper and off ball player or whatever. But he might just be a big because he is going to struggle playing against guys who can keep up with him. Because I have always been of the opinion that Jonathan Kuminga is a good athlete, but he's not Jalen Green. Jalen Green, put whoever in front of him, it's a fucking track race. Like, no matter who you put in front of him, he's blowing by them. Jonathan Kuminga, I don't think that's the case. I feel like his athleticism is best suited against bigger, like, super big, power-based wings, if you will. Like, if you're gonna put someone, let's just say, like, I can't even think of someone off the top of my head. One take. But, yeah, for the most part, I think that's everything that I have for Jonathan Kuminga. Oh, he was getting left open on these jumpers as well, like super wide open, like dumb wide open. They're going under screens, and he still airballed that one jumper. I'm not gonna harp on that one too much, but he still airballed that one. He was left wide open. They went under. Yeah. Let's get to Moses Moody, the guy I kind of want to talk about a little bit more. Moody struggled at the rim in this game, and for whatever reason, he just really wanted to finish with one hand. Like, for whatever reason, he only wanted to finish with his, I believe it was his right hand. He only wanted to finish, let me check the notes. He only wanted to finish with his right hand. He looked really uncomfortable around the rim, even though he had some flashes. He had an and one, he got fouled a couple times going to the rim, and he had a couple decent finishes, but he looked uncomfortable getting, not only at the rim finishing, but getting to it. It looked very uncomfortable for him. But the thing that did not look uncomfortable was the jumper. Everyone knew that was what was going to translate. If nothing translated with Moses Moody, it was the jumper. You know what I'm saying? So it's about time for another hydration break. But yeah, Moses Moody, he did a poor job at the rim in my opinion. Like, I just really don't like his approach getting to the rim. It seems like he's kind of averse to using his other hand, sort of like Davion was yesterday, where he just didn't want to finish with his left. Everything was a right hand inside scoop layup if he was on the left side of the court, which is something that is going to have to be remedied. Like, you can't be a strictly right hand finisher in the league. It's not going to happen. But the good that did come from Moody was the shooting, of course. He was very confident as a shooter. He did not hesitate to take them. And the defense, he sort of had the Devin Vassell thing going on. Not quite off ball, where it just don't come to his side of the floor. But he was closing up space really well. He used his length really well to disrupt the Heat's defender. I mean, offensive players. What am I talking about? So, yeah, that's pretty much the quick and dirty on these last couple of games and their prospects or whatever. Anything else I sort of had to say? Let's see. Oh, Moody does he disappeared in the first half. Like, it was just sort of like he wasn't there. And he kind of disappeared down the stretch. Same thing with Jonathan Kuminga. They both disappeared down the stretch. And, I mean, that's sort of to be expected. They're playing up. They're both very young for this class. Very, very young. I think Jonathan Kuminga is supposed to be 18 years old. And I think Moses Moody is still 18, almost 19. Don't fact check me on that. I'm not looking at it right now. But they're both extremely young. So, like, of course, they're going to deal with some offensive inconsistencies and whatnot. So I'm not going to harp on that too much. But the one thing I don't want to happen after this game is people changing their minds. Because I saw nothing this game that changed anything about my evaluation from Moses Moody or Jonathan Kuminga. They showed me exactly what I thought they did. I mean, Jonathan Kuminga made more shots than I would he usually did in, like, G League and in AAU or whatever. But I forgot what he ended up with. But he had an efficient game tonight. So that's pretty much the only thing. Like, you know, he's prone to having these games. He opened up the G League bubble looking like freaking prime LeBron. You know what I'm saying? He's prone to having good games like this, but the bad was still very, very bad. The stuff that I had concerns about was still very bad. Same thing with Moody. He pretty much just did what I thought he did. He was a little bit more aggressive passing. Like, he tried some passes that I didn't see him try in Arkansas. So that's something that I really liked about him. He was trying some stuff. He was trying some new stuff with the passing. Other than that, I really didn't see anything that would have changed my evaluation. So you don't change your evaluation either. You stick to your guns, no matter what happens in Summer League. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, all that bullshit. Who are you most excited to see in Las Vegas? That is my question of the day. Who are you most excited to see in Las Vegas? I got a couple friends going out there to watch live. But who are you personally most excited to see? For me, it's probably... I have no idea. I just want to see the whole Nets team. I love that team. I love Cam Thomas. He's fun. I love Kessler Edwards. I love that entire roster for the most part. So, yeah, thank you guys. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, I'm out.